Alright guys, Vol here. We're going to take a look at a game of War Machine and Hordes, and it's Circle of Orboros against Mercenaries. As you can see here, this is a non-scenario game. I've got my guys deployed as follows, but I've just got to apologize. There are a few proxy models on my list. If you look to the left, you can see a Warp Wolf, and he's a feral Warp Wolf, but I'm actually counting him as a Warp Wolf Stalker. That's the big guy with the sword. Unfortunately, my model hasn't arrived from the mail order place yet, so I'm having to proxy the feral as a Warp Wolf. This is a Kromac list, and second from the left, you can see Kromac standing there in deployment. And yeah, I think you really need to take a Stalker with Kromac. There's a lot of theory behind that. Generally, he's almost an auto-include type of thing for the list, but yeah, Stalker with Kromac, really good idea. I've taken a Pureblood. The first number of games I played with this list, I had a Feral instead of Pureblood, so basically I had the Stalker Feral combo instead of the Stalker Pureblood combo, but I really am digging the Pureblood at the moment because he can allow the Stalker to use Ghostly, so he can run through walls and stuff and get the caster kill. Also, I really like the spray attack to give you some more ranged options, and even with the stones, teleporting the Pureblood into position to then spray can be quite an effective combination. And, you know, he's still able to kill stuff in combat if he really needs to. I've got the Gnarlhorn Satyr. The point of having that guy in the list is really to give the +2 bounding, and he's quite cool. You know, he's quite a tough little cookie himself. He's also quite decent in combat. Wolf Riders, just love the Wolf Riders, really. I always have. Great models and great in the battlefield too. Kromac can give them the +2 armor and fearless abilities of inviolable resolve, and generally they're quite good at triggering Warpath. I've got a Warpborn Skinwalker there on his own. He's actually not a Warpborn Skinwalker. You can't take them as solos. They're actually a unit of 3, but this guy represents a Gorax, because I don't have the model for the Gorax either. And further ahead, you can see the shifting stones, which aren't actually proper shifting stones. They're just stones taken from the side of the road with flock and basing material on them. I think they look cool, though. And my opponent is Durgen Madhammer, the Dwarf Mercenary, and he's got a Driller, Avalancher, he's got Rayana and Holtz, he's got Reinholtz, the Gobbo Speculator, he's got the Troll and the girl accompanying him, I can't remember the names. He's got the Kiazi Assassins with the Underboss, he's got the Rupert, the Piper, and he's got 6 of Crow's Cutthroats, including Crow, which have advanced deployed. So my Wolf Riders will be preying on Crow because they can easily go through the forest and start getting some hits on Crow. I do realize a lot of stuff is stealthed, but I should be able to get in range, throw jabs, and then run back. Next image, you can see basically what my army looks from front on. Again, a couple of proxies there, Gorax and Feral Warp Wolf. You know, actually Gorax Warp Wolf Stalker. In the first turn, really what you want to do is just cast all of Kromac's spells, get all the upkeeps going. What I tend to do is I put Inviolable Resolve either on the Wolf Riders or the Gnarlhorn, and Warpath obviously on Kromac, and I put the Wild Aggression on the Stalker because he's the one who's able to get the most mileage out of it. Next image, a bit of a closer look at Durgen, Madhammer, and company. Just deploying centrally here. Durgen I've played a few times before against this particular player, and it's generally gone alright. At any rate, I've got the first turn here, so going to the next photo, I've essentially put all of the upkeep spells up. I've moved the Wolf Riders into the woods and the Warbeasts generally onto the hill. The Stalker has just touched the forest because he can warp for Prowl at the start of the turn, making him stealthed. Other than that, really just riling up the Warbeasts, you know, so that they've got 7 Fury collectively between them. The Kromac can leech back, and I've got the shifting stones up on the hill as well, with a bit of a triangle going on so that Kromac, the Gnarlhorn, and the Pureblood can all hang out within that triangular shifting stone area. Next image, you can sort of see what's going on here. I've kept the Wolf Riders so far within the forest that he can't actually see them with Crow's Cutthroats or anybody else. But then if he moves up, what I can do is I can move 7 inches out or 9 inches out, throw the jabs, and then fast cav, light cav movement back 5 inches into the forest where he can't charge me because he won't be able to see me. He can get Pathfinder, but you know, if he can't see me, that'll be fine. He won't be able to charge. Next image, what he does decide to do in his responding turn is move 3 of the cutthroats up and keeps everybody back. And again, not entirely sure why he's chosen to do this, because what I can do is just move up and kill those 3 guys that he's lined up at the front, then move back. Even the Stalker's got lightning strikes, so that'll be possible. And he won't be able to retaliate. I think that this is his normal strategy he would use against other lists to force you to come in, attack the 3 front guys, and then he just swamps you with everybody else. But against Circle of Orboros, it doesn't really quite work like that, unfortunately. Next image, more of an overview of his turn. He's got Durgen, who's moved right up into the hill, and the Avalanche next to him. Everybody else is kind of hanging back. He's got Rayon and Holt moved up as well. And looking at it, Durgen's in a pretty exposed position there. I mean, if I wanted to, I can teleport the Pureblood up and fire at him. The Stalker isn't particularly far away. I mean, if I move up the Wolf Riders and kill the 3 cutthroats in front of them, that will allow me to warpath the Stalker up 3 inches. He could warp for Ghostly. He could get the Nullhorn Bounding Animus on, and then charge Gorton. Sorry, not Gorton, Durgen. Gordon being his counterpart. So that's a possibility, but at this stage, I'm just going to play it real safe. Next image, my turn 2, the Pureblood has teleported out. Rather than shooting at Durgen, I'm going to try and play this game a bit more safely. I mean, I could do a lot of damage to Durgen here, but I don't want to do that where he could easily just run away and sort of send his guys in later. I want to start getting damage on his army first. That's the call that I've made. Maybe not the best one, but what's happened here is I've sprayed the driller, I've boosted for damage, and have hurt it fairly badly actually, with a decent roll. Next image, indeed what happens here is the Wolf Riders move forward, throw their javelins, and unfortunately, due to a little bit of bad luck, I think I needed 8s to hit here, can't quite remember, with the luck rerolls, didn't quite manage to kill them. I took out one of them, but this means that I can then come in with the Stalker if he warps for Ghostly. So go to the next photo. That's exactly what I do. I charge in with the Stalker. He's got reach, so I put him in a position where he can actually target both models. He's got Wild Aggression on him, so he gets automatically boosted to hit rolls, and it swings his sword around that you can't see obviously because it's a proxy, but takes out both of Crow's cutthroats. And then what he's able to do is use both Warpath and Lightning Strike to pull back about 9 inches after all that's said and done, meaning that he can't be counterattacked, which is quite a good move there. Next image, though, hanging back with the Gorax, Kromac, and the Nullhorn, just moving the Pureblood in, and since he's behind a wall, none of his guys can really charge me. After this photo was taken, I believe I used another Warpath to put the Pureblood a little bit closer to the wall, so he definitely gets the cover bonus, the concealment bonus, or whatever it is. So he can't really charge me very effectively, and if he shoots me, I get a whopping defense bonus, so that's really the idea here, just playing it safe. Next image, though, Ayana, I can't remember her name, and Holt both move up and take shots at Kromac. Kromac's sitting on a hill with fairly high defense, so luckily I managed to avoid a lot of damage here. He missed a couple of times. I think he did get one shot through, which I then transferred over to the Nullhorn, so looking at a reasonably good position. Next image, Durgen also moving up, and really risky stuff here. I mean, he's bringing his caster up front without too much protection and then just firing at Kromac. I believe he popped his feet as well, but I think this is sort of silly stuff here because Kromac's on a hill, he's got the defense there, he's got plenty of health left, he's got a Fury token for transfer. He may have already used it, can't remember whether he did or not, but Durgen, thanks to Reinhold, gets 2 shots, but it's not really going to be enough to kill Kromac there, and he's sort of exposed himself a little bit. So going to the next photo, what he does to compensate for that is charge the Pureblood with the Kiazi Assassins. One of them is able to get into charge range, and the other 3 sprint so that they're in front of Durgen, so that I can't charge Durgen with the Pureblood. And of course that single Kiazi Assassin does some damage, daggering the Pureblood quite painfully. Next image, though, it's my turn, turn number 3, and the Nullhorn Satyr charges Holt and Ayana, and, as you can imagine, gives them a good pummeling and smashes them to the ground. Really hate those solos, so I'm glad to have got rid of them, or a unit, however you want to think of it. Next photo, he uses Warpath to then take 3 inches over to the Avalancher, meaning that the Avalancher can't really do much with its gun and can't charge me, and it's going to be a bit of a a bit of a duel between the Gnarlhorn and the Avalancher. I feel comfortable with that because if I can just hold up this flank, and I've dealt with Ayana and Holt, the Gnarlhorn's done a pretty good job here, and chances are if it goes into the long run, if I do a little bit of healing, the Gnarlhorn will actually come out better off against the Avalancher too. Next image, the Stalker has had the Primal Animus cast on him, and he's got Wild Aggression as well. He's warped for strength, so he charges over at the Driller with power 20 and predictably wrecks him straight away. What I do there is, since I'm going to Frenzy automatically in the next turn, is I use Warpath just to move closer to his guys into melee range as well with his Stalker Sword Reach, preventing Durgen from running away, and obviously I'll have free strikes on him if he does. So next image, Crow's Cutthroats have moved further forward, the rest of them that is. So what I've done here is I've charged in with, well, I've assaulted in with the Wolf Riders. They throw their jabs, kill everybody that can, and any of them that don't go down, I attack with the Mount and Rider attacks. He used the Rupert Piper to put tough on them, but when you've got a Jav, Mount, and Rider attack, between each model, it was quite easy to take all of them down. And of course, at this point, I had the option of moving 5 inches back or moving 5 inches forward to the next line of guys. What I decided to do there is move forward, because even though that gave him the opportunity to actually attack me next turn and take some of them out, that meant that the middle ground where I've got his caster tied up, he wouldn't be able to help out Durgen. And if the game went on a couple more turns, I should be able to actually kill Durgen thanks to this flank being tied up, well, both of them being tied up, to be honest. So next image, a bit of an overview. The Pureblood now moves around and uses his spray attack on several people at once. He's tried to pick off that girl with the ratchet in the middle and Reinhold, but unfortunately rolling pretty low for attack rolls here and missing. The Gorax has also moved around. As you can see, the Driller's been wrecked. We took him off his base there. And the Kiesi Assassins are sort of tied up in melee with the Stalker, who is going to frenzy anyway, so he's got a little bit of time on his hands. Next image, finally activate Kromac last and just put him back behind the shifting stones so that he can't try and get out of his bad situation by killing my Warlock. I've left a single point of fury there for the transfer, so there's no way he can charge his pathfinding KAC Assassins over the wall into Kromac because of the shifting stones, and they don't have reach, I believe, so I'm pretty safe there, but he can retaliate and murder my Warbeasts if he's lucky. So again, an overview here. I've got one point of fury in the Gorax, 3 on the 3 on the Pureblood, 2 on the Gnarlhorn, and 1 on Kromac. So that'll be enough to get Kromac back up to full fury in the next turn. The Stalker's going to frenzy anyway, so I don't really care that he's got 2 points of fury on him because I'll be able to remove that after he does his frenzy move. But as you can see here, plan's going pretty well. I've managed to tie up everybody that I can. And in his following turn, it's just really going to be a matter of him beating down on my Warbeasts, and hopefully I'll have 1 or 2 of them left to attack Durgen after his round. So next image, what he does here with the Kiesi Assassins and Underboss is to attack the Pureblood, and they really rip into him big time and do some severe damage there. Next image, Durgen himself moves around and attacks the Stalker, and he uses quite a lot of focus here to actually pummel him with the hammer and knocks out his body aspect. So that's quite good for Durgen, because when the Stalker frenzies and attacks Durgen, he's going to be rolling 1 dice boost. That's 2d6 on his damage roll. It will be about power 18 or 20 or whatever, but Durgen's got enough life left to survive that with the focus that he did camp. Next image, the Gnarlhorn are taking quite a pummeling here, just in general. So he just survives barely with a few boxes left. So what I'll be able to do is use healing from Kromac just to bring him back a little bit. Next image, it's my following turn, and what I actually did here is I moved the Pureblood around. He's able to warp for Ghostly so that he can't be free struck by the Kiesi Assassins. He was almost dead, but what I did in my turn here is I used Kromac's feet, and normally you wouldn't do that. You'd save it until the enemy Warcaster is within 13 inches of you. You'd move forward 6, jump 5, use the 2-inch reach, and start whacking him with your axes. But in this situation, I knew I could win without doing that. I didn't need to risk it, and I wouldn't be able to get the opportunity for another couple of turns. So I spent all of my fury on healing, then cut myself for another 7, thanks to the feet, and then spent the rest of that on healing, so I could get all of the aspects back to full on Warbeasts that it counted for, basically. So here's the Pureblood using the spray on everybody there. The Stalker can't can't activate this turn because of the Animus previous round, and unfortunately the Gorax didn't have enough movement to get to Durgen. So next photo, this is pretty much how I ended up. The Nullhorn is still pretty damaged, trying to take out the Avalanche, but not quite doing it. The Shifting Stones have actually moved in front of the Pureblood so that the Kiazi Assassins can't charge him. The Stalker has frenzied onto Durgen but hasn't done anything, and the Gorax hasn't reached him. I've killed Crow's cutthroats, except for Crow, by the way, who failed his command check, and one of the Wolf Riders moving over to Durgen just to cause some free strikes if he runs away. But that's the end of my turn here, and he's left with a few models which he can do a fair bit of damage with if he wants to. So next photo, essentially, after his retaliation, he's taken out the Stalker, but has failed to kill the Pureblood because I put the Shifting Stones in the way. So the Pureblood has charged in onto Madhammer. Kromac activated before that and put a Wild Aggression on him now that it had gone down from the Stalker. So essentially what I did was, I think I killed one model, warpathed him around the wall, and then charged in, warped for strength. Now, actually, what I did is I didn't charge, but I warped for strength, and I just moved over the wall normally, and Wild Aggressioned him, and managed to kill Durgen, and that was game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, bit of a fun one, a bit of a warm-up one, really, and hopefully in future I won't have to proxy so much. Thanks, guys.